welcome to the very special edition of the Mixed Grill Show. So I guess I'm your host, Bobby Banerjee, and we've got a bunch of people with us today. So we've got, I might as well keep going around. So we've got Naz Harrison, one of our Curry Cartel members, James Whitelock, another Curry Cartel member, Sarah Higgs, another one, what's your name again? I don't know. Fine, Nitin Sharma, Heartwarming,
for Recruitment. Say it. I just said, go on. The largest. Say it.
the second most fun podcast in recruitment behind.
I'll take that one.
And the recruitment powerhouse that is Michelle Flynn.
Aww.
So
That's lovely, but like, I just did Naz.
some guy at the bottom of the street. I literally found this.
Come on, Naz. Thanks for Little Naz. It's been a long time about Little Naz, for sure.
Yeah, well, I guess I might as well start off with a quick question. Would you be big spoon or little spoon?
Oh, depends on with, but I'll go big.
Let's you me.
I'll go back to answer.
Shit. It's you.
I don't I like big spoon. I'll have to give
You were Big Spoon, Bobby. What about you, James?
What can I do?
Big Spoon. Bobby. Well, we were just sticking the Bobby's you.
I think he's a lot bigger than me, so I think I'm going to have to say little.
Just assume me in Skype, but not me as the person.
Still little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We enjoy that.
All right, you Sarah.
I'd have to be little spoon.
Little spoon, love that.
Yeah.
Big. Absolutely.
I'm like making you bake.
We would wrestle each other, be like Borat and Hazamas Bagatov in the hotel with us.
Just lying exhausted next to each other. Colon, sous la draw.
Michelle,
Oh,
good thing to
goodness.
say.
Oh, big spoon.
Big spoon, love that.
Definitely.
Big spoon energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big fat, yeah. Right, I think I've already broken any kind of
Set the tone.
any issue there. So, right, I might as well start with the Mount Rushmore question. If you had four figures to go on a recruitment Mount Rushmore, I'm about to try and say that again 10 times so quickly. Who would go on it? James.
So we go on each. Can I just pitch it? Because I don't think I've got that many.
Yeah, I was going to say, no one eats.
Yeah, one each.
To be outside this room of legends.
You can't pick anyone in the room.
Okay, just check.
I'd like to describe myself as a future legend.
Legend in.
Yours valid future Hall of Fame.
Even though we're creating the Hall of Fame ourselves, but to sure.
I'm going to pick another podcaster. Sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
Sorry. Well, I would pick you because, of course, but apparently you do have a podcast. Say it.
Apparently.
Say that. Apparently it's quite popular, but
Is there an head? Let's get it.
No. Have you been on it? I've been on it.
I did it
twice you've been on it.
Twice I've been on it.
Not twice.
Yeah.
You are a legend, though.
Serious.
AKA.
Sorry, you're good. I'm gonna pick Matt Alder because I've always got Matt. I love Matt. He's his podcaster, does a kind of recruiting future podcast, and he's been kicking him for years. He's generally a nice guy. He's always been an inspiration to me, and he's always been very, really kind of open and helpful with his advice and all the other kind of stuff when I've been trying to kind of start a podcast, and he just knows his shit. So he's a damn good author as well. He's really cool.
Big fan of people who help others, right? Because normally in our industry, you get some people who will definitely sweep up the
They could get my doing that. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like that.
black play. I'll let Michelle stew on it for because I have a feeling you'll have a few.
She knows
Give it a few. Yeah, she knows a few legends. So I'm sure some of us might mention some of them. So I'll make up the.
Yeah, you can't all steal my legends and then I get asked and I'm like, oh God, can't even anyone.
I'll go next.
Go on then.
Controversially.
Or James Caan.
Oh.
Why?
Like him or loathe him, and I know a lot more people probably sit in one of those
I
camps.
have no opinion on him. I'm not really coming
That's
to it. I mean,
He was the first one to really kind of show how much money can be made and turning it into a kind of revenue machine, right? With Alexander Mann Solutions, coming up with the concept of direct to rec, it went on to kind of represent. Plus, again, selfishly as well, being a young, child of a migrant, be able to watch somebody with this colour skin
Yeah.
actually do well in a predominantly male and white dominated industry is inspirational to it, dare I say. I'm not quite, I don't agree with every decision that he's made. I'll wear that. But yeah, I think he deserves a slot though.
Okay, interesting. I will come to you now, Michelle. Who would you follow your A-list?
I am going for a woman, as we should, because we also
There's too many women in recruitment.
so many senior women in recruitment. It's terrible.
Probably some HR manager or something.
Definitely not. And the reason she just came straight to mind was I actually saw her a couple of weeks ago for the first time in almost like 20 years. So Victoria Maloney.
Or, I mean, I can vouch for her.
Yeah.
She's great.
She was Victoria McBlain when I worked with her. She was the director of Perm of Computer Futures and I was there. And just an absolute legend. And
Who's run that place?
on the Perm side,
Futures. There was somebody who followed.
Simon Albert,
Oh, okay.
little botcher.
Right. I'll just submit.
You're getting confused.
Apologies.
Don't look at that. Yeah, I had an interview with Simon Albert and fell over the rug as I went in and somehow still got the job.
Amazing.
But she told me...
You literally stumbled into recruitment.
I literally fell into it. Literally. And yeah, she told me the other day
Over his role.
that she'd had to performance manage me. And it was really, sort of, I blanked. That was really unusual. And she'd performance manage me. And the next month I did 7 deals. And I just go, she was a woman that just kind of took no shit, but also knew when someone kind of needed a soft but firm word to get back on track. So we got me.
And what's consistently kept her a legend in your eyes?
Just that she's carried on doing that. Like it was literally when I saw her, it was like she had not changed. And I put a post out, obviously, on LinkedIn, and everyone was just like, I've worked with her, she's brilliant. So yeah, just to see her continuing for so many years to just be so brilliant, I feel very lucky. So she is
That's
absolutely up there.
That is totally valid. I love that one. Sarah.
Well, I don't know if this is allowed because it's technically one of the cartel. So I wanted to just mention him because he's on here, but Barry.
The backdoor Barry himself.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a recruitment
So
legend.
you can't mention your clients.
What is it about Barry that makes you makes you think he's on there?
Is it the voice?
Yeah, that is the voice. That's what I think. Yeah, no, I think like in our market as well, like so many groom businesses have problems with like getting paid, and I think what he does is really great. And he's such a nice guy as well, so I think he definitely deserves.
He's taking something that
Status.
is really boring and actually made it interesting.
Yeah.
He's given something very boring, a persona. Actually giving us some charisma, which is hard to do in any industry.
I first met him, he's like, hi, I'm Backdoor Barry. And I didn't know anything about it. And I was like, okay, whatever you like. And then I found out more. I was like, now it makes sense. Yeah.
But honestly, whenever I talk about the concept of backdooring in any other environment other than in the world of recruitment, people are like, "Who's this person?" And then I see, and then when I explain it, it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." I can't think of another way of describing it other than backdooring. I don't know if anyone's got a way of.
That is the way. No one else knows any other.
We had a guy, Dusty Miller, at Computer Futures. He was the enforcer.
I mean, that is a name, isn't that?
Dusty Miller, the enforcer. Maybe I.
That's a Netflix special. With us. That's it. Dusty Miller, Private Eye, next thing you Chris Lloyd.
It was brilliant fun, but yeah, the enforcer. Although I prefer Backdoor. It's reference.
Soundtrack that one. Soundtrack that one.
What's it called, you? Whichever cancer.
There's your ring sound there.
Yes. Who's on your list?
Michelle, first backdoor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Please, chop that out. I want that as a ringtone.
We're looking for little center points. As little B-roll to break in between stuff. It's going to be him. It's going to be me for back.
Who's always looking to fame.
Yours a really important note by Michelle Flynn. Anyway, on with that regular break.
Naz, you had a few more seconds there.
Yeah, no, still really strange question.
I think that's like, I'm going to be in the industry 10 days.
Me, I'm just on the street, Yeah, I think so. I have to answer this now. I think based on just purely, I didn't know this person personally, but just based on the impact that they clearly had to a lot of different people, I'm gonna go Ron K. Because you could tell a lot about someone, I mean, there's a story about Ryan, he founded this business, incredible business, that's supported a lot of people in the recruitment industry, and unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago, last year, I think it was. And you can always tell a lot about someone when something like that happens. I mean, it was so, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was unilateral as well. I think there was, I've had some limited dealings with him. He was a really, so during lockdown, I did something called furlough, which was something that helped people get back into work. And he was one of the first people that jumped in and said, right, we're going to sponsor it.
Nice.
And, he didn't have to. Yeah, at no point, but it's just
Lots of those guys, and I've met his wife since, and she's incredible. Not her age, she's doing incredible.
I was going to say, you had Speeder recently. What was that like? I mean, I listened to it, so what was that like from you?
Unreal. Like, I didn't know kind of how to navigate that conversation. Do you know what I mean? She was so open and happy to talk about it. Obviously, like, as far as she's concerned, not talking about Ryan is like second nature. He will be happy to do that. For me, it was unreal. Just the way she keeps his legacy alive. But you say there's a lot to be said about a man, and not by just the way he or she kind of lives their life, but kind of what is said about them afterwards. Yeah. Right? And like it is often said, like, people die twice when they pass away, but then also when their name is said for the last target.
Yeah, out of the conscious.
And this guy's never gonna.
Just for love.
He's not gonna disappear. She is flying that legacy flag, flying.
And not just her, like the people that work for that business.
Yeah.
The walk they did recently, the fact that he's always in the conversation. I think that I often talk about we're working for different families, different businesses. I'll always talk about what happens if you're not around tomorrow. Will your team disappear? Will your business disappear? What are you doing to build something sustainable that lasts? Because that should be the goal, and that's kind of the testament to a great leader. I mean, that business is still thriving. I've got friends that work there. It's still it sounds like an incredible place to be. So I think worth a discussion.
Cool. We've had none of you said the one that I would probably add to this.
So that's yours, yeah.
So the guy, and he's a guy, I'm afraid. He's been like I don't know if there's been a bigger brother or an uncle or whatever he has been, but Carl Faxi. So obviously, I mean, when I was at S3, shock, another person who's at S3, right? But yeah, he was one of those directors that always had time for people. And I think there weren't as many of those as there should have been at times, and I'll have to point that out. But he was definitely one of the good guys then. Since leaving, he's just become an absolute powerhouse. He seems to know absolutely everyone. And I guess personally for me, and yes, Nitin, I'm going to mention it, but I wasn't very well last year. And one of the things he did was...
What?
I know, right? We'll go into that, don't worry. But one of the things he did consistently was call and check in and make sure that I was okay, because he'd gone through something similar, and he just wanted to make sure that people were around. Like, he just genuinely cares. And like, normally there's people that will do whatever they do, work in the Ned space, work in whatever space he works in, and don't give a shit in real terms unless there's money involved. But someone like him, he actually gives a shit about our industry and the people within it, and so that's why he comes onto my list.
He contacted me to check my husband was okay after my husband's operation.
Yeah, right.
Like, just another level of amazing.
Yeah, it just comes naturally to someone like that.
It takes 4 days to respond to me.
I tried, Calbesh. I tried.
He's so busy asking how you lot are. Bastard.
Yes, now that you had a particular... what I think's cool about this is, like, think of how a lot of people view recruiters or people in our industry. The cynicism that gets put onto salespeople in general, specifically people in recruitment. Like, what are this like really cool human beings there? And like, there's so much that's innocent. Something like amazing. Yeah, we'd all think of like people that perhaps aren't well known, but just as cool, just as amazing to work around. Like, there's so much cool stuff and cool people that work in our industry do amazing things and had a huge impact on a large number of people.
There's some side, and from what we do with this, I think what I've gotten to learn from doing the Recruitment Curry Club is that there's loads of great people in our industry. And it's a little
sorrow for majority. That's the problem is our industry's not full of dickheads. It's just the dickheads have got the loudest voice, and they're the ones that are most competent.
And having him way to a popular podcast of 60,000
Well, you two mentioned it, right? Two as of now.
Sound to me too. Saved 7,000. Saved.
No.
Well, maybe say it. All right. So, enough about recruitment for a minute. If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing?
Oh. Right, what would I be doing, or what would be sleep?
What would you be doing if you didn't? If you hadn't fallen into recruitment that time?
Literally.
Yeah.
I never
Tripped on it.
Literally, I mean, like I say, if it was up to my family influences, I would have been a doctor. I mean, number one, I literally don't know my else from my health.
Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, that's not painful still, isn't it?
Then not for me. But yeah, I actually don't know. I've never really given it that much thought because I've been so grateful of.
What did young Bobby want to be?
Oh, well, that's the problem. Young Bobby wants to be a cricketer,
Yeah, there you go. So
but then he became too fat and didn't enjoy playing cricket enough.
hey, I've seen some fat cricket players.
Yeah, me too. Me. At one point, I wanted to become a lawyer. I don't know why. At one point, apparently, when I was really, really young, I wanted to cut open women and get babies out. So, but
Glad to see this.
So you sound like
when I grew up, I always wanted to work to help people. So, pretty enough, not only doing what I do as a trainer and coach, but also as someone in the world of recruitment, I get to do doubly. So, kind of started to do it, but didn't realize that this was the way to do it, right? Because no one ever knows that this is the way to do it. Sarah, what would you want? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I know. Well, similar lines of helping people. I think. Well, when I was younger, I used to think I wanted to be a teacher because both our parents were, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be a teacher, and then completely changed my mind on that. Then I think I'd do something to help people. Maybe a counsellor, something on the mental health lines. I think I would have loved it, done that.
Who's he? There's someone in this room that kind of helps with that.
Let's have a chat. Not a sales chat, just to chat it out.
Yeah, Michelle's now paying for the entire meeting.
Yes, I'm all sorry.
That's a key.
So, Nitin, I'm assuming you wanted to get WWE.
Oh, be a wrestler. Yeah. Yeah.
did you?
Yeah, he looks like. Yeah, that was a pro wrestler.
No.
Yeah.
What was your wrestle name?
TN Star. It's a really shit name. It was given to me.
That's why. Were you from like Tunbridge Wells? Like,
George Reed was that?
Please search for a postcode.
A mate of mine got a cameo once from Mick Foley, an old wrestler, and said, "My God, can you sing it to TN Star?" And he sang the whole thing to Tennessee Star because he read the TN as Tennessee. My wrestler name was Tennessee Star, and I was like, "This is so disappointing." It just makes me sad. Nothing. But yeah, I'd have pursued that more because when I stopped, well, I didn't take it very seriously. Then I injured myself, didn't even rehab properly, and then hold on a load of weight, and then got injured again. It was like, shit.
Well, you could have been the first Asian Hardy Boy. Why not?
But I made it into like the minor leagues. But absolutely, if I always say to what is now my wife, if we hadn't got together at 16 and stayed together, my exit plan was always me and then break up. I'm going on the flat to America. On the Jordan, I mapped it all out, knew where the rest of the schools were, near Florida Championship Wrestling. This is the route here, blah blah blah. I've got the size, I've got the build, I've got like the sort of the knowledge of kind of how things are done. I'm naturally good at this, and it was always like a yeah, and then just light up.
Yeah. No, but not.
Well, I'm happy. I am happy.
Tell your therapist, yeah?
Now, what about you? What did you want to see?
What do I want to be? What did I want to be, or what would I end up doing?
You won't be.
Yeah, both be. Well, when I was at uni, I did a year in industry. I worked for EMI Records in the marketing team, which is probably caused you where we're at, or not. So they got taken over by a private equity firm the year I worked there. So like, I'm almost pieces of it kind of sold off while I was there for that year. So there wasn't really much of an opportunity because a lot of people do a placement year, go back, finish their degree, and then try to go back to the company they worked at. That just wasn't an option. It was just pretty tough by the time I left. But that was really, I really enjoyed that job because I was in the marketing degree, I was in the marketing team, and I was, working with these different bands and artists. So it was some really, and there was some rich major record companies, so kind of first and fourth. What was a bunch of the label I worked at was one of the less known labels in the business, but it was raking all of the new acts. So a lot of them weren't absolutely huge. So I'll probably do a weird little callback. So we worked with a Danish brand called Alphabet that was really big. That's the Danish one. Then we got to see the biggest bands I worked with were Plain White Tees. Yeah, Hey There Delilah, What's in That? Did a lot of digital massive for that. David Guetta. And this album about life, that was cool. Your Modsy. Shit. Is it just I used to play 2 years ago. Oh really? Yeah, I went out one of the best nights of my life. He gave me a signed album when he was in the office. We did something. He was already guys signed album for you guys, 2 Naz, but thanks for David gets enough thanks of it. He goes, yeah, no worries. He goes, oh, hang on, and then just sign another one, just his name, but next time you be the girl, he would take that. And I gave that to him. What?
Well, a year later, and I was actually going down again, and I was like,
You can have a signed album on there. So that paid off. That's it. Also, maybe going back to that would be really cool. I really enjoyed that. Or I did work for politics for a little bit before I got to Recruitment.
nice. Did you?
Yeah.
Which party?
Labour Party. I worked for.
What is that? But you can't say boo to anyone because I don't think we're going to bother.
Besides that, they're all terrible. I was going to. Yes, they said on Green Party. What's the Green song on BRB?
Modesty.
Yours are far all the way, guys.
No, what you don't know is that Naz is Count Binface.
I did not overhype. Well, the big news in interest. I basically worked on the election campaign for Ed Miliband when he was running to be leader of Party in 2010. We're trying that earlier, so I did that for a little bit. I've got a little friends.
That's your West Ace to thank you.
You sure that he won that bit? It was a few years later. Things like that. So yeah, maybe something. And I've got a lot of friends in that world still. Well, I was under in the cabinet now, which is really weird. Well, the people that all the generation I came up with are now.
So a little new guy called Mr. Sudak.
Yeah.
Rishi Sudak. They said I'm coming.
I for me.
That's yet to packet.
Yeah, it's good. One of those two. I'm still full of that as a base.
Are you ever?
No, we'll be.
Yes, in my whiskey to be a drinker.
Kid freezing nicely good. Straight as the best whiskey in my hand.
No, I'm all good.
Michelle, what about you?
Oh, I think it's from my surprise. I wanted to be a maths university lecturer.
Very specific. Which specific of field in mathematics?
So originally the pure heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And then eventually more of the high stats side of things. And definitely that's where I thought I was going to end up. You wondering? Because I probably enjoyed university a bit much, went off the idea of doing it.
Yeah.
For a year after I graduated, I worked at the uni in the student placing office, but was also doing basically tutorials and I really enjoyed it, but I was like, don't know. And then I was going to get jobs, sort of actuarial work, and just couldn't get a job in it. And then fell into recruitment.
Literally.
First thing that happened, like, thank God, I would have hated it.
Fair play. Just imagine you in academia. I was going to say.
I know. Exactly. I would have hated it. I'd have been like cool because I'd have been out drinking with them and having sort of like being on their wavelength. But yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah, local lecturer gets messy with students. Yeah.
Exactly. I nearly got arrested in McDonald's recently, and it's like health cake. Gets arrested in like McDonald's. Decided to
do something. We're not skipping over that.
Absolutely not.
I didn't realise. So when I moved,
Then you couldn't just take the food.
I didn't realise that you had to be in a car to go through the drive-through.
You walked.
They can
You sold
you
it.
for that. Yeah.
You saw it. Okay, that's.
So the restaurant was shut. I'd been out, moved to a new area. Didn't really have any late night.
You kind of scooch down the car stairs like you were in a car mine.
Just like filming.
The really old car. Not in North car. Generic car. Like, you can at least have it for you.
Or maybe do squad jobs like on film 4 Lions where they're just kind of like this. Oh my
That's probably where it went wrong. Is I didn't realise you weren't.
You did
that.
pretend you were in a pretend.
No, I didn't realise. So I was like, the restaurant shut. I just walked up to a big queue of cars. Then I put my order in, "Oh, you're not in a car? Well, why is that a problem?" Well, so this is where it all went wrong. They said, "It's health and safety." To which my response was, "You are McDonald's. Let's be fair, your food is not really aligned with health and safety." So I know, I went down that route. By this point,
This poor 40-year-old basically behind me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry.
When you say your husband ran off, did he go like this, pretend? Oh,
no. Hey, just left me there. No, he was like, "Oh God."
well, to this point, he was stood with you.
No, he knew. Like he knew what he could already foresee.
And
when-
at what point were the police getting involved?
No, there was definitely the point when they were like, "I think you should leave, madam." And the car next to me were like, "Just tell us what you want. We'll do yours." See? Community. Which would make way more sense. But by this point, I was in. I was like,
So no, I can't. I've got my own car.
"My car."
Is there anything funny about that though? Like McDonald's statistically is on the same screen you possibly as well. Like Usain Bolt used to own it with McDonald's the week when he went to Olympics because he'd been in another country. He said, "I know I will not get food poisoning from that. Like 100% guarantee, I cannot get food poisoning from
I mean,
McDonald's."
is it chicken nuggets?
Chicken nuggets for all you being up to a race.
That's body nuggets.
Yes, but just training like 4 years to one point. He said like the risk of going out for a nice restaurant and having something that gives you food poisoning is too high. So McDonald's was guaranteed.
What you're saying is
This podcast is sponsored by McDonald's.
yeah, yourself. Why? Because so what you're saying is that I have the diet of an Olympic athlete. So that's
That's next time. That's a your age is right. Leave it alone. You're just good enough for you saying this. So tell us again how you didn't get into academia because you chose not to, not because.
I think it was a blend of both. I think that I realised that actually I wasn't that interested. So the more I was getting, I enjoyed doing it because I really like maths because it's either bio or math.
Did it enjoy you?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
yeah.
You did walk through Donald Dice.
I know.
And you do. You
Yeah.
fall into an interview as well. Yeah.
And maybe this is why I wouldn't have been good as a lecturer. But I was good at the maths bit. It's probably why I was good at recruitment because I could work out the numbers. Always got many KPIs. But yeah, it wasn't for me, and I think that was a really wise move.
Fairs.
A bit like where most of us fell into recruitment. And you go, at that moment when I walked into that rec to rec, and they were like, they weren't actually rec to rec, they were a grad recruitment agency. I was looking for a job, and they were like, "You thought about recruitment?" And this in the first year. I was like, "Count me, if that sounds lovely." Just that moment changed everything, and I am so glad it did.
that clear? I love it. Yeah. So Nitin and I. Oh, I was.
No, you carry on.
No.
James, what would you have been?
Yes, Jake.
Shall I do this quickly? Shall I just give the quick version? So, I was only ever good at drawing when I was at school, when I was a kid. So I could only ever draw, right? I mean, it's rubbish at everything else. I was
Speaking.
pretty much shading cobbles, that's it. I'll be honest, I wasn't very well. It's terrible. So I went down a route of wanting to be an artist, so a painter. I used to I loved going to galleries, or I think I studied a BA in fine arts, like painting, printmaking, and sculpture. Wow. And that was where I would go.
That was like a very middle class degree.
It's quite fine.
So I'll get a John award.
It's really leaning into the
Oh, I mean, it
badge we'd given. Really.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm very proud,
You bold colonial alone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but that was the only thing I was any good at. But it turns out there's a lot of people who are really, really good at it, and are paid a lot of money to be really good at it in London, where I didn't go, and it was really competitive, right, basically. And then they like a wafer thin percentage of people ever go on to become kind of paid for artists. My only claim to fame when I did that is I worked for Sir Anthony Gorley, who made The Angel of the North.
Yeah.
So I worked in his studio in Camden for 6 months or so, welding his sculptures together, basically. So I was a kind of art partner and spot welder. But yeah, do that. But yeah, I never got to the lofty lights. But that's what that actually took me into graphic design, which then took me into marketing. Get your first around. It's the origin story. There you go, exactly. It's not as cool as ours, man.
No.
They're just still involved welding there, so
I can weld. I actually can weld. Yeah.
Team on me.
It was you're both actually.
Really?
Yeah, I did a song. Yeah, so it's project away. Recruit was the way. Yeah, exactly.
When all your dreams die.
It's a heavy industry.
Recruitment wasn't handy. Although, and what I do love is that it does give anyone anyone a platform, anyone the ability to have a career, be able to create something really good out of it. Makes a lot of people create something bad out of it as well, but you know, there's lots of.
There's some really shit crews out there. Let's not.
But the thing also about recruitment is it's not just recruiters.
There's a low barriers to entry in this industry.
We're all recruit that you don't have to be a recruiter to have anything to do with recruit.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Every other they agree. I think that's the thing that recruitment gets bad name out is this recruiters are bad recruiters. There's all of this stuff that goes on in the back.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. All of that admin, all of the suppliers into everything that feeds into it, you know, into this industry is the really cool stuff. It's just a few of those really shitty recruiters at the front. It gives a really bad name.
Yeah, it's right. That's bad. Yeah, for sure. I think your point's right. It's like it's such a low barrier to entry. Like if I wanted to set up a recruit company tomorrow, it would take me less than an hour. And now for recruitment, I'm now a recruiter. I'm not going to be doing all kinds of bad practice and just tearing through the market, doing everything wrong. And then unfortunately, just so many people like that. It just drowns out good ones. And it's a bit like holiday reviews, isn't it? Like it will comment when something bad happens, review bombing it. Yeah, you talked about. So you don't necessarily want to shout about good experiences all the time. People, but are very motivated to talk about bad experiences, and that's why I think there's this echo chamber about bad recruitment.
But isn't it lovely when you meet a really good one? Yeah, but when you get sort of on your training or whatever, when you're at a deal bit and you're just like, this is one of those. It must be that moment, like when sort of Sherman got found in. You're just like, this is it. Like that.
Well, you train some people at this, right? You train someone, you work with them, they didn't quite, not quite get there, whatever, and then they start to get it, and you see like
Saying click.
it's when that breaker thing's clicks, yeah. But then there's this other point that happens when you train, when you're working with somebody, or you have worked with somebody, where they go do something beyond what you thought they could do, or what you taught them to do, and you're like, oh wow, they're now broke over this now. This isn't just me helping them get better at their job, which is where it started out. They're now in charge of their career, and they're taking it.
Exactly, it is. Yeah, sorry, it's not about that. It's not about just getting them half decent. Yeah, it's about allowing people to see where they can see their strengths go and how far that can take them. And I think if people did more of that, lots of recruiting businesses will be way more profitable.
I remember when I was in house the other day, I always used to try and push as much as I could. Mr. really lifted and until I was trying to really push a culture of own your own learning. Yes, L&D is here to help you, or someone you manage this to help the rest of it. But this is your profession. You've chosen to be there. You've chosen to do this for your life, at least for the time being. I'm treat it seriously. Are you checking out podcasts? Are you reading books on sales? Are you living and breathing stuff? Because a lot of recruiters don't. And it's
I get really interesting chat with Benjamin Denny years ago. What I had him on my podcast. Sorry if I mentioned that.
You got a podcast?
Oh yeah, yes.
Boring. Say it. Boring.
He made a really good point. He's like, I don't work with recruitment businesses. I just don't. And I was like, well, why is that then? And he went, because my training is expensive, and I expect anyone attending my training to pay for it, not their boss. So the boss is paying for it. It's just a day out of the office for them. It's a day off the phones. They don't use shit. So I say to them, no, I'll work with your business, but your recruiters, they're the ones that got to pay to attend my training.
wow.
Whether you bolt that onto their threshold, or whether you bolt that over, claw up like at commission, whatever, I don't care how you do it, but they need to have some sort of financial commitment to this, because otherwise they're not going to get anything out of it. But then you're going to go around telling everyone I'm a shit recruiter, that I'm a shit trainer, and I'm not a shit trainer. The team is shit. Wow. And I was like, fucking that's solid. It was don't get me wrong, not a huge amount of people jump at it, but that's good because I don't want to have a room full of. He goes, I get to walk around telling people I'm one of the best sales trainers in the UK market for that reason. Because I'm not just training people whose boss can afford to send one training it. They go out, they do shit, and then everyone's like, oh, don't use him, he's crap. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Fair justification.
Cool.
So, Nitin and I have talked about this ad nauseum, so I'm going to keep us out of it. But what has been the weirdest or the most wonderful thing you have seen in the world of recruitment? Some of the things we got to talk about on a car on the way home from Manchester included reports on, people sending 7 pages of the Argos catalogue instead of their CV.
Solid.
I've seen, yeah.
Oh, God.
Seen things like that.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, so bank statements is a popular one when people upload a bank statement.
Instead of CV.
Their CV, yeah.
And is this just getting the wrong file, or are they?
I think
just going on?
I think they're maybe getting the wrong file, but it's got the whole.
It's a flex.
whole.
It's a flex. Did you check the balance?
Yeah, was it good? Was it
I really need this job. I don't know money.
It's one of two things, isn't it? It's like, look how absolutely desperate in need of a job I am, or I don't need this job. Look at my bank statement.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I said my bank statement would be, how desperate is this guy for a job?
He'll take anything.
Instant leverage.
Salary expectation drops.
And I will take anything.
Are you talking about on CVs or are you talking about general?
No, just generally.
Stories?
It's the weirdest shit you've seen.
Anything. I saw. I can't remember who it was. Was it Kieran from Asia that talked through someone that they had worked out had been crapping on the floor in their office.
What, just in communal office space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm yet to.
is it
yeah,
power
we need to speak to Kieran about this.
Power play.
Is it just power?
It's got to be in it. Why? What else?
Like marking your territory?
And then that people start leaving, and you're like, okay, there's now of the original 10 that were here, there's only 4 of us left. I'm one of the 4, and I'm the one that keeps pooping on the floor.
You know what's
I'm
hilarious?
gonna suss it soon.
You can imagine the directors MD sitting there going like, the moment when they go, you know that guy who we really rate because he always stays late and puts in the hours. Like, do you think he's the Phantom Poo Bandit? And they just all their perception changes.
I think it's a great nickname, the Phantom Pooper.
You're welcome.
I mean,
Trademarked.
That's a great Insta handle.
What a weird superhero that would be.
The Phantom Poo Bandit.
We had a candidate who, it wasn't mine, but I remember the story in the office. He was on the way to the interview and had to cancel it because he was so nervous he'd shat himself in his car. And he basically phoned and he was like, I don't know what to do. And the recruiter's obviously like, get to the fucking interview. He's like, no,
Yeah, because
I'm
the
sat
humanity
here
goes out of things
in
when
my,
there's many
kind,
right?
kind of shit. And
Oh, no.
yeah, like imagine how nervous he must have been. For
I
that
can't.
interview.
I can't imagine.
Did the recruiter cover for him and make up an excuse as to why he couldn't come in, or did they tell the client
Knowing
why
the
he didn't come?
recruiter, he probably told the client.
Exactly what happened.
Yeah, he had
really
some
want
weird
this
stuff for future. We had someone turn up in full army kit, like camo, with a gun. They'd gone to the client site where they'd been contracting and then came to our office.
And they had a firearm.
So yeah.
A real one. Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
Like we had all sorts of stuff go on.
Some wild stuff. I had a guy on the sales floor. He's a bit of an interesting guy, and he did some weird stuff every now and again. And one day he just brought a candidate onto the sales floor to do an interview, like with the client, just because they couldn't get access to a computer or whatever, and just put them in the middle of this. It was an open plan sales floor. There were no meeting rooms. Just literally sat this person in the middle of the sales floor of like 150, 200 people, and logged them into the interview, the online interview, and just like. They had their kid with them, like some 12-year-old kid or something, or 10-year-old kid or something, and just took them to the side and but didn't tell anyone. Like didn't tell anyone who was doing it. Nobody understood what was going on. They're just like, who is this person? Are they interviewing for us? Like what's happening? And then like afterwards, we're just like, what did you do that for, guys? Well, they said they didn't have a chance to get to a computer, so I just thought it'd be the easiest thing to do. And I was like, that was just weird. It was just a weird experience. We were just like, okay.
It was weird for you guys, not for him.
Did he get the job?
It made perfect sense in his mind. It was purely logical. I don't know.
Gotta get the KPIs. Yeah. However I get them, right?
I had an old boss that was like, this was my first experience of an autistic person. And I was like, all right, where's this going? He was like, there's this kid, like, blah, blah, he's really good. Gordon's really good. But, like, he takes everything you say literally. And she was like, I didn't know this. So he come over and was like, oh, I rang that client for feedback, but they haven't answered. And she was like, will you fucking ring them until they answer?
Oh, no.
And do not stop ringing them until they answer. Get that feedback. And Gordon go and sat down and started doing it. And about 15 dials later, the client answered the phone. He's like, I'm in a meeting. Who the fuck is this? And he's like, hi, it's Gordon from Page Personnel. I'm just ringing for feedback. And it was like, what are you? Oh. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And he was like, well, my director told me to ring you until you answer.
Oh, no.
Poor kid got sacked. And I was like,
They flat the kid?
yeah.
Oh,
That's not right. Like, you know,
It's outrageous.
this was before Joe Major was doing her thing. You know what I mean?
To say, he's gone on somewhere to do bloody brilliant because of that. Just like I will work.
Or has been traumatized to fuck.
Wow, that is it.
I doubt that person wants to recruit anymore, but
Like,
hopefully he's found something
there's
to under.
so many good
yeah.
people that leave the industry because of shit managers and
Oh, yeah.
experiences.
I think it's the number one reason people leave the industry. Go on.
I've got a really good story. So my first company, I won't name names, But LinkedIn.
Page personnel over it. Sorry, page personnel and they're bad managed.
On my LinkedIn, they're that bad. They didn't even get a spot on my LinkedIn. They were horrendous. But there's so much I could say about them. But basically, when my old colleague left the business, they really thought that he'd gone to another recruitment agency. They were really paranoid about it. And same with me when I left. Well, I went to do something, so I was in legal recruitment, went to do something completely different. I was doing sales recruitment. They were getting lawyers on the phone, threatening to sue me, saying that you can't do that. Typical. When he left, the owner of the business, because they live near each other, tried to run him over with her car.
Okay, this has been on the weirdest thing I've
She
heard.
then called the police and told the police that he was stalking her because they were at the same train station, even though they lived near each other. Police came round his house and arrested him because they were like, "Why have you been stalking her?" And then they were they got the same train in from where they live into Liverpool Street. On the train, the son, who also worked for the business, did a public announcement on the train and told the whole carriage to watch their bags, watch their belongings, because he was a thief and that he'd stolen from their business and he was also going to steal from them. And that was in the whole train.
Well, he just grabbed the phone thing on the train and just.
He literally,
just went for
he
it.
just shouted
Oh,
on the
right,
train.
sure.
He was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, big announcement about how this guy who used to work for their business was."
What in the psychopath is going on here?
I know. I mean, there's so many more stories about that company, but that's the big one, yeah.
Right.
And
It sounds like we've got a segment. What happened at this company?
that could be a whole podcast in itself. But
I'm in.
I mean, that nearly, obviously you can imagine, put me off from for life. But I, found out that that's not what all business owners in recruitment are like.
Just
Just a lot. Yeah. A healthy amount.
That was like my first job.
That was your first experience in
You
recruitment.
can just sort of squeeze on somewhere.
Yeah, we've got a couple more people wanting to join us, so that seems good.
Latecomers,
Why not?
but welcome.
Yeah, let's squeeze in.
Have-
We've
yeah,
got
have-
room for one here. And
Put it
then
one over here in between. Is that like a stool?
we've got
Or maybe one
You've got a
here.
stool.
Big spoon.
That's that big spoon energy, yeah?
I might
one
change
of
it.
you sit there and one of you just pop.
I might change that on my LinkedIn. Recruitment's big spoon. Credibility process.
can't just notice.
What's up, Pete?
Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Go for it.
Hello, I'm Christian.
Hi, Christian.
Yeah, and I'm Pete. So I'm
That's all we're getting.
Welcome.
I'm telling you, these
details
two
are
are
gonna go
spies. They don't want to tell us anything about him.
you had one shot and you missed it.
Do you have any healthy stories? Because they were funny, but like, are there any good ones? Any uplifting, make like restore faith in humanity?
Nah, come on,
I
that's
mean-
boring.
He asked the question.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah, I guess wonderful thing. This wasn't because it was one of my candidates or anything like that, but one of the best feelings I've ever had, beyond recruitment ever, was being able to deliver.
Where's this going?
No, I had a good.
This is a big spoon thing.
No,
It's called a Singaporean reach around.
what is it about Singapore that has a good reach around culture? But no,
Conversation.
I was able to.
Welcome to the pod, guys.
I was able to give a candidate 3 offers, and being able to sit down in a room with him in Cambridge and being able to give those 3 offers, each better than the last, and watching the guy break down with happiness because because to be honest, when we qualify people, we don't necessarily care too much about what goes on in the background, or we don't do enough, and it changed my viewpoint on a lot of different things. This one interaction, and that I was giving him these offers, and it increased his livelihood by about somewhere around 10-12 grand. And he broke down because he was able to give his daughter private healthcare for a recurrent health issue, which I hadn't asked about. And I tell you what, that completely changed my viewpoint on asking about what's going on in people's worlds. Yeah. Because when he was able to say that made, I'm even getting a little bit emotional thinking about it now, because it was just such an incredible feeling. And I think being able to give that feeling to people in any way, because recruitment,
You're still in touch with him?
I am actually.
Very nice.
Weirdly.
On a similar thing, I've got Ivan Pavlovich, who I placed at National Grid, right? And he was living in Peterborough, travelled to Birmingham, because he was just like, look, I just want a job anywhere, I'll move if I have to and whatever. And we're friends on Facebook and stuff, and he had a daughter similar age to mine. His wife and his daughter were back in Slovakia, no, Slovenia, my apologies. And he was like, yeah, you know, I'm living in this
lucky
like
is on you right now.
tiny little flat and like this tiny little sort of house share thing, but want to get a job here, and once I'm settled, I'm going to bring them over. And sure enough, he has done.
That's amazing.
That was over 8 years ago, and he still works for National Grid, promotion after promotion and all that sort of stuff.
I mean, Reform are going to be onto you for that.
Yeah, well, good.
I think though you
good
don't
pod.
get to see that, do you? And I think so. When I left Computer Futures, I went in house, and then my recruitment business was always that in house. So you really get to see what an impact you have made.
Yeah.
And I ran a graduate scheme for a company that I was working with called Huddle, and 2 of the graduates ended up married. They've now got a baby, and we were joking earlier about sort of pimping, and it's like, but we are sort of introducing people.
You know,
Changing lives.
Well, it's an objectively hilarious subject.
It's a whole different thing.
That's a different part.
So James has to talk about pimping. That's what we take away from that. But no, you're absolutely right. Because we're matching people to people, right?
Yeah.
So you know, I have dating analogies whenever it comes to the training I give, because I think it is so intrinsically linked, because relationships are built.
Single boy in reach around.
Absolutely. I mean,
Always comes back
there is
to
always a single boy.
Also, there's candidate discovery.
Right, fellas, you joined us late. You missed one of the key questions, which was, you think about your Mount Rushmore of recruitment legends.
Okay.
Who would you place on that? Just one each.
No one from within the room.
It's more difficult.
Don't worry, Shah.
You're a newcomer to the industry, so
Fairly, I'm going to pull Chris O'Connell because he's someone I've seen speak, and
someone's got to like him too.
yeah, exactly. But his background and his stories, you know, right up there, and I think you know what he's got to say is worth people listening to.
Nice.
Could probably give a shout out to some of you guys know as well. Holly Langley, just a bit of a legend. So I'm more sort of a back office. I do deal with automation. Work with Holly on the bullhorn side of things. So she keeps sending me work. So yeah, big shout out to her. So yeah,
Good bit of honesty there. Yeah, healthy.
No selling when you're referring.
It's interesting because I listen to your conversations about recruitment, and I'm an outsider looking. I'm financial services background. For a start, the same shit goes on everywhere, by the way. So it's not.
No, what you mean? It's not specific to our industry.
But I do think coming in, like, I think that it's an amazing profession because, you know, you can start off with nothing. You said earlier, you can, you know, like literally, there's no barrier to entry. In financial services, you need hundreds of thousands of pounds to start a company. This, you know, it's a meritocracy. You can go in and work your fucking arse off, and you can get something out of it. Yeah, you're going to get some shit people, but you do even where you have to have professional qualifications.
Right, when I was in,
And the most interesting thing is actually you guys are doing something that most business owners, that's the biggest problem that they have. If you speak to any business owners, look at all the studies, it's human resource, and you can solve that problem for them. Yeah. It's their fault if they don't recognise that, and that's their problem. Yeah. And the great thing is, those business owners are building businesses, giving other people livings, and that's supporting everything.
I'd slightly disagree with you. I think we don't recognise how important it is enough.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
as an industry, I think everyone knows that finding the right people for businesses is a challenge, but I don't think we put enough respect on the name of recruitment.
What do you think that is?
Because I think we undersell ourselves in a lot of different ways, or we have, again, going back to the original point, that I think we have some poor actors giving the wrong advice about our industry. And I know we've spoken about this a few times. It's a professional service.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I totally agree, but even professional services sell.
It is a
Don't all sell. Unless you
I wanted them to sell to me.
The point is, every business, like in the history of commerce, has to sell.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Right? Sales is part of business. That's how you make money. But if your only claim as a business is we are a sales business, well, you're fundamentally flawed then, because what are you outside of that? Then what are you? If you're a professional service, and that's what we sell. We sell a professional service.
I'll raise this to everyone. Why is it that the world of recruitment doesn't allow itself to see itself like a KPMG, a Deloitte, or whatever it is? Because they're selling a similar kind of service, and they're getting the same spot.
They're letting everyone else.
No, but
is it the outside influences? Right? If people tell you,
no. When I was at Faden, actually, we talked about this a lot, because the CEO at the time was actually, he was on that train. He was like, I want us to be seen as a professional service. And the phrase he would use a lot is, we want to be the Accenture of the recruitment world. And he said that starts with hiring the best people we can find and having really high standards of who we bring into the business, so that when we go out, there's a really professional face on it. It then obviously leads into the training and the structure and everything. But his whole theory of the case was, we can be that if we want to be. We will need to change to enable that. But if we want to be a professional service that advises on talent strategy as opposed to advising on, corporate governance or internal structures or whatever, we can be that. And that's what he wanted the business to be. And there was a lot of work that went on while I was there in the marketing and the training and the hiring to move closer towards that. And I think there was a lot done.
Then it gets to the 23rd of the month, and let's just e-shop the shit out of the data.
Exactly or you have a hiring target and you're worried about missing it, and you start to widen the doors.
The revenue is your traditional end-to-end recruitment model, right?
Yeah.
The core recruitment piece. But if you look at the financial results from Taze, Page, Manpower, all the big boys, and actually look at where their revenue has actually come from, their margins are down. Their core recruitment activity revenue streams are down, and the majority of their profit has come from non-traditional recruitment routes. That's how they've all listed it in their accounts. So all the big boys have already cottoned on to the fact that, hang on a minute, rather than just equipping, little Sally and little Jimmy with a salary survey and be like, go out, see clients with it, go and drop this off to their desk. They're going, we could sell that. Rather than going, we just ring them and chase that vacancy. We could sell a source and selection service, a CV shortlisting service. We could productize our offering. They're already doing it. The problem you've got is the rest of the SMB market is still being run by and large, leaders who were taught all the wrong things by dumb people who did well during a time it was easy to be recruited and get promoted based on meritocracy. You're a good enough biller, now manage people. You've done really well with that, now you're a director. And you've got all of this sort of like stack of cards that's now starting to fall and crumble because they actually haven't got a foundation underneath it. They don't really know what to do. And then you end up with these posts like, you wouldn't do the plumbing yourself. You'd call a plumber, wouldn't you? You wouldn't fix your car yourself. You'd call a mechanic, wouldn't you? So you should be using an agent.
Well, it's the right.
What is that? That's stupidity.
I mean, it's kind of true, but it's written in such a sarcastic undertone.
But it's not true. No, but it's not true. What would most businesses that have TA, right?
Yeah.
What was the one thing that TA are really good at? Candidate sourcing, right? That's the thing that they're really good at. Most of them are failed recruiters. Why? Because they weren't good at business development, which is the sales part, and part of that is sales. Because BD and sales are not the same thing, but they weren't good at the sales part. They're great at the candidate stuff because that's the shit they really enjoy. So guess what? They went and did a job that involves just that. So if your only USP is to sit there and be like, I'm better than you, and I'm an agency, you shouldn't be using me. And it's not the recruiter's fault. It's the directors and the leadership team's fault for delivering those messages because they don't have any of the USP. They don't know what else to say.
One of the things I always used to get frustrated about, and for those of us here that were, in a support function and not just in sales, you get the same people in the same rooms having the same conversations year after year. Yeah. I think where a lot of recruitment firms go wrong in leadership, senior leadership, is they hire all these really talented people to come and run their TA, their marketing, their L&D, their IT, whatever, and then they don't listen to them. They just basically go, no, we want it done this way, and not just these are the outcomes we want. That's fine. I want that from my leaders to say, here are the outcomes we're going towards. Here's our strategic goal. Help us get there. But then when it trickles down to no, don't change this. Don't do this the way And I think a lot of recruitment firms really struggle with that and it's normally under times of pressure. So when things are going well and there's money in the bank and really good forecasts, you go off and you run that little training scheme you want to run, or you want to do a project on changing our, IT stack, you go and do that. And then the minute the wheel turns a little bit and there's that downward pressure on the finance of the business, everyone just retreats to type. And a lot of sales leaders or recruitment leaders, I find, then just start to shut it out. They listen to a very small group of people that have been in the business for a very long time, all know each other really well. And actually, that's where a lot of these things go wrong. Because what's the point of hiring experts in certain disciplines if you're not going to let them be experts and do that job for your business?
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, you look outside of our industry, and we don't do this enough, but if we look outside of our industry and look at what works in other businesses and other similar types of models.
Yeah, totally.
The best CEOs that are out there are former CFOs or former CMOs
or COOs
and COOs, right? very rarely did a sales director get promoted to a CEO position and do well. Because a sales director can only do one thing, and that is focus on sales, and that's it. They don't understand the holistic picture. And when you then have...
Yeah, but when you get people like Lord Sugar going, oh, but they didn't do sales in The Apprentice. So everyone's still thinking that sales is obviously it's an important function, but...
I'd flip it from a slightly different angle. I agree with you that is what the corporate world looks like, and there's reasons for that. The one thing I would say is that I think all CEOs, irrespective of industry, not just talking about recruitment now, need to have good sales skills. Because actually, if you look at what CEOs are doing 95% of the time, they're in some capacity selling the business. Of course. Either to prospective hires, investors, etc. So even if a CEO has come through the ranks in a different part of the business, they should spend a couple of months working with their sales team, sitting with their sales team and learning from them, because they need to know how to do that, and those skills are paramount.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Salespeople also need to understand. It's easier for a COO to understand a bit more about the sales arm of the business than it is for somebody who's a sales director to understand marketing, then to understand the operational side, then to understand the strategical side, then to get their head around finance, which is why so many SMB recruitment businesses struggle, because they're great salespeople, but not good business people.
Is it easier, or do salespeople let ego get in the way?
I would imagine both.
I'm going to stop that conversation right there because we've got about 15 minutes left.
Oh fuck, we gotta go Curry.
And so I want to exactly. So I mean, funny enough, this is obviously the kind of conversations that we generally tend to have at these events, which is great.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of put it on the people that aren't wearing the black t-shirts in the room. So we created some random thing about 7-8 months ago, where we thought, you know what, let's get people in our industry all meeting in a room, having some curry and talking. Whatever that's now become has been incredible. But from you guys' perspective, certainly the 4 people that haven't decided to just all pretend that they've got some kind of memo, what makes you guys want to join something like that? What do you get out of it? And
why are you here?
Yeah, what does
I just enjoy the hangover the next day.
It is not about getting drunk.
I didn't dislike dogging on people that would have thrown arms. That was quite a pleasurable afternoon. That was quite fun.
I suppose it's the opportunity to meet people in a non-networking environment, like in a different environment, to have a conversation, to do something. You see a different side of people, and I think that's my experience from the situation.
Totally fair. I love that. I mean, Pete, you've come to a fair few. Yeah. So talk us through it. What's made you what made you come, and what
made you keep coming back?
Keep coming back.
There's something about going for a curry, isn't it? Like
it's really different from any other cuisine. You go, oh, I need to check all of the Chinese restaurants. I need to order. And for some reason, curry houses seemingly
it just seems to be like something that you do as where you interact with people. You kind of there's beers. Maybe it's kind of like a bit of a British culture thing as well. Although now you guys are international as well, so it's
I mean, I don't like to mention it.
We should have a little flank spot there for every time we go.
Like World Cup win. It's just.
But make sure we have the English and the Scottish, not some GB flag.
Absolutely. It's just a relaxed environment, isn't it? Right? People, everybody can kind of just feel like they can have good conversation. They can kind of let their hair down, or
keep their
particularly one.
It says that. I've got
that. Honestly, he's just rubbing it in our faces.
And I've noticed as well how a lot of the people who come to these things, like we're small business owners to be like serving a recruitment industry, and we're not talking about sales, which is probably what we spend most of our time doing today. A lot of us are working with either the same people day in, day out, and or working by ourselves from home. So I think it's just a good opportunity to feel like you're sort of part of something a little bit bigger, and you can actually have a little bit more of a conversation and be a bit more sociable than you would be. I spend more time chatting to ChatGPT than I do to any other human being in my.
I totally get.
Talks back now, so it's quite nice.
It's actually nice to speak to humans for a change.
It does speak to me nicer than my kids do, though.
You could train to do that.
What keeps you coming back?
And more importantly, you want to help us grow in a different area in Brighton. So talk.
Brighton.
Just finalising that. Yeah. I could say it's about the networking and the conversation. It's none of those. I love to laugh, And I laughed so much at that one in London.
Oh, jeez. I mean, that one
That was like the shittest curry house. That served no booze.
I'm sorry.
But what was lovely was that we just had a laugh.
Yeah.
And to me, that just really showed the greatness of the recruitment industry, that no one cared. People just went out, got the booze, because it was also no food, no booze
And
restaurant.
they didn't tell us any of this.
And we just got on with it, and I barely laughed. So for me, I just like a good laugh, and I know that I'm always going to get that, because it just brings together a brilliant group of people, and we share funny stories. We'll probably share
talk
ones
about
that
pimping.
maybe we won't talk about publicly because we don't want it on the record, but we'll talk about those later.
Amen to that.
I heard them stories. I've heard the.
Never take one. It's been years of computer futures.
Honestly, we're just going to allow an audience with Michelle Flynn. Next story, when we're going to the India Fleet Street, we are literally, it's an audience with Michelle Flynn.
Everyone at
Well, you
Futures
know.
we
No,
take,
Slayer, how about you, mate?
Well, I think for me, I'd always, I started my business in Feb, my training consulting. I went from working in big office, lots of people, like my whole career, to just be completely on my own. And I found it really difficult. And also I was doing this new thing. I was running a business myself for the first time. And, I had people in my family who had done that.
That's a crash course in, by the way.
Absolutely not. And you think what it's like, and I've got people in my family that have done it. My parents are entrepreneurs, my brother's run a business himself for a long time. So you get this advice, and then you're still just sitting in front of a computer just trying to figure it all out, and you just don't have a clue. And for me, when I saw it come up, I think it came up on LinkedIn, and I happened to be in London the day of the next one on working with a client. And for me, I was just like, you know what, there might be some other people there that I can kind of learn from that maybe have been on that journey a little bit.
And then you came across me.
And nobody knows a thing. They're terrible. But no, and I went to my first one, and like everybody there had something great to share with me. Whether that was a bit of advice, I think you and I were sitting next to each other on the first one, Pete, and whether it was a little bit of advice on, here's something I've done, or learning a little bit something more about my industry that I didn't know, or just making me feel like, you know what, you're not going crazy. Awesome. This is tough, and it should. It's okay that it feels tough because it's felt tough for me. And here's there's nothing you can do. You just got to push through it.
Here's a supporting meter
massively, and just when the WhatsApp group pops off, that afternoon when the WhatsApp group popped off, I didn't share any of this, but that was a day that I was finding very tough. Actually, that was one of my harder days where. I'd found out a couple of things that I was hoping to come in, wasn't going to come in, and I think got pushed back. And I was like, oh my God, like this, you're in the trenches now on like running a business.
It almost feels personal when a proposal.
It's tough work, and anyone that runs a business will have those stories and know what it feels like. But then when we just went on to this tangent about Nans, to your point, Michelle, I was just cracking up, and no, it's great. And I went on ChatGPT and I made a funny image about it because I just paid for it. I was just like, oh, great, I just paid for ChatGPT. That's a great move. Let's get something good out of it. But you know what I mean? I felt part of it, and I think all of us that have come from the recruitment world know we all had those days where like it's tough in a sales job and things don't go your way, and in that point, it's the team around you that lifts you, and I just felt that, and I think the Curry Club has given me that more than anything else I've done since starting my business. So thank you to you guys for making this thing happen, because I know there's a lot of people in the group who feel that way. So that's what it was for me.
Appreciate that.
I was going to say,
I think that's a beautiful place to finish.
Yeah, that is. Thank you very much. And
can I just give a quick shout out to Andy Simpson and for
Smith
for hooking us up with the studio. It's
Great
vertical drop in.
And almost breaking shit to make this happen.
But no, he did break shit.
Well, come and say hi on camera.
I'm not careful, this table's going to break.
We will be liable for that one. The monitor was not us.
I had the pleasure of hosting Sammy on the podcast. I've got to say, he's a fascinating individual, and
cheers,
I love what you've done with this. You're doing a cracking job, mate.
That's welcome for joining Asian Corner, by the way.
Hello. I think we all agree he's doing a screen-crackingly good job.
Thank you very much.
It's just smash them.
And he's already had a go at me. He's already. No.
Oh,
he just laughed at me. £6, don't worry.
I was going to say he's pretty sound, and so thank you to you guys. Thank you for Andy an interview. For hooking us up, mate. This has been really cool.
Yeah, and hopefully people want to come along to more curry clubs and spend more time with you guys.
That's it. And if you're out there looking for a podcast studio in London, this is the place.
He's not allowed to celebrate
drinks. It's got everything. Everything you could ask for. The guys they know their shit, and they've got all the video, all the angles. They've got the video editing services. All you got to do is drop in, film your shit, go and leave the rest to the pros. And these guys are the pros.
Let's not go there.
Throw one out.
Was it you in that?
Right in the middle of the office.
And on that bombshell, I think we might as well leave it there. So thank you so much.
No worries. You guys come. Yeah, thank you. Oh, cheers for that.
What a shit talk.